Hello from Safonovo. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace, where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about press release, and let's start with the definition.
Press release is the way how you give to the news media information about your company. Maybe you would start the new conveyor. Maybe you would hire some hypo manager. Maybe you will start to produce new goods. In this case, you would eager to share with everyone, and you will say something like this in several paragraphs. First would be that we started to do something. Second, you will remind what is your company. That company is well known for. Third, it would be like previously this company were doing and such a things. And third, you will make mention or you will make cross-reference to well-known facts. For example, Maxim Golub company now is number 3 in global Forbes.
And when we speak about, maybe we'll start like with the packaging of it first. When we speak about tone and voice, I do believe different companies, they may have like different ways of communicating, but still, I do believe there is also maybe some sort of like a standard or maybe expectations how exactly you should be communicating with your listeners or readers.
Let's talk that key aspect of the press release would contain purpose. You want to inform everyone that you good at something. Second, you should think about your audience, and you will say, for example, for women, or you will say it for the teenagers, or you will make it for the kids. Third, you will make it like a context. What are you talking about? In different newspapers, your press release would look different to give everyone food they like. Third, it format. It's very short. And last one, it's distribution, how you want to be republished. For example, in the Russia, there is several database which contain like 26,000, I don't know how to say, journalists or journalists or stringers. And yes, they are quite small, but Russia is quite a big country, and it is not easy to go to federal channels or to stay on the first button of the television. It's so-called main channel in the Russia. But if you have no money and you want to spread your information for free, and it is informative and it is available for the people, you could put this in special database in different location or partitions, I don't know how, раздел, divisions.
Or blocks.
Or blocks, yes. And if Stringers has some free space or spare space in newspapers or in magazines, they would take it, and you will be published all over the country.
When we speak about frequency, well, obviously different events could dictate different frequency, but overall there is also maybe, I would say, like let's stay as a blip on the radar so people don't forget about you. So what might be more or less the rule in order to start this broadcasting?
Let's talk, for example, for School of Troubleshooters, which main goal to spread the information we share right now in our videos. We do this on several occasions. For example, if we have around digits, for example, it was 3,333 days of our recordings, or it was like 10,000 videos were uploaded to YouTube channels, and so on. We do not do these press releases about successes of our pupils right now, but maybe we'll go for it. Some people from School of Troubleshooters get promotion. Right now it is a lucky day for Yakov Shmarin from Voronezh. He will get into the company 10 times more, and he will get promotion in salary in 1.5. So he's happy, but he is shy to share it. But I will tell you the story about my previous job. I was working for Alpha Bank in Russia, and we were doing press releases each 2 weeks. But they were located in content plan. For example, this week we will make it for small and medium enterprises. Then we will do it for retail. Then we do it, for example, for partners. Then we do it for corporate and entities and so on. And at one point of time, second shareholder of the Alpha Group, he was on the press conference, and suddenly he make an error, make a mistake. He announced quite a big amount of companies which are opening accounts in Alpha Bank. And we were astonished. We don't know what to do. If we will checked, we will have problems. So we excluded this line of press releases until we got the number much bigger than was announced by shareholders. So we put on stop this line in content plan for more than 1 year.
Well, I do believe it's also interesting time to, and a good time and a relevant time to ask another question. Sometimes, usually, like we would see this in the movies, and I do believe like you had this like in a personal life as well, in a personal experience. Sometimes you urgently need to do the press release, no matter the situation. Maybe it's like competitor move, maybe it's like a leak of the information that is about to get published. So what you want to do, you want to be preventive, you want to strike first. So how to handle such cases?
I will tell you a story. I was head of security in Kiev for Alpha Bank, and suddenly we have unusual activity close to our ATM machines. All of them were empty early at the morning after, I don't know, 1 hour, and we were refill them, and suddenly they were again empty. And I was asking what is going on, because I was sitting in the cabinet. I was not standing on the street. And at this time, I got a call from Moscow, and it was from my not chief, but indirect. I don't know how to say, indirect manager.
Dotted line supervisor.
Yes, thank you, dotted line. And he asked me, could you send us some cash? And I was saying, how much? And he told me, as many as you could, by plane. And I was saying, what is going on? And he told me it was a newspaper article in Kommersant about two banks, Alpha Bank and Gota Bank. And it was published that we have some troubles, and people start just to fight close to our branches. They even flip over some cars for incassation, and so on. And I was renting several planes, and we were putting the money without even counting, just for weight. And we were happy that it come smooth. In 3 days, everything was covered. By the way, the main shareholder put $1 billion from his account to the bank account, and it was спаситель, savior gesture. Savior gesture. And everything was so fast. I was trembling with my hands. I was thinking, what will go in next? How we will cover all these holes we created with the money. And suddenly it was press release inside press release. And it was something like this. All people who work for Alpha Bank and take their personal money from the account, you should fire for 3 days. Wow. Second, all clients that were called by managers and they hold the money on Alpha Bank accounts will get their money back at the first ask, по первому
request,
зову,
yes.
For the first request, plus 10% to the usual percentage, and so on. And I was thinking, how cool are those guys who created this? And then I was asked, you should also do some press releases in newspapers and so on. And I done it. And then it was request. Also, you should go to the court and you should go against this newspaper which belongs to Berezovsky, Roman Berezovsky, which was enemy of those banks. And it was English law company, and they asked the High Court to go against this newspaper, and it was a case about 10 million US British pounds. And when we get an order that we are able to get this 10 million British pounds back, I was asked my shareholder, call to this newspaper and say that we will forget all this debt, but they should give us at least 1 million British pounds. We will get this money to the law firm because they are winners. And after this time, we create also press release that we will save the newspaper. And yes, it was mistake, but it happens.
Yeah, and sometimes I do believe there's also should be like an open communication. The moment we publish something, we should expect some of the questions, like going through the different channels. So how to handle post press release things? Because I do believe there should be a person who communicates that. There should be a rules like what to say, what to not to say, or even when to say.
When you do it quietly through the newspaper or through the RSS channel or through the internet, your corporate website, no one in person would pronounce any news. It would be just published. And special crawlers with taken special databases, and some people like me just will ask artificial intelligence or do it manually if those press releases give all the data in right sequences. But if, for example, you have an emergency, you will call for conference and then you will use so-called key speakers. For example, in my company, there were like 5 key speakers. I was responsible for security, technology, data, and analytics. And for example, Maxim could be responsible for product, project, and maybe customer affairs. And then you will stay on the so-called press wall. You will have micro and you will pronounce your press release. By the way, you would read it from the paper. It is not allowed to say something from the heart.
And then my last question will be how knowing about press release could help to make this world a better place.
Right now, I have 19 projects which are seeking for money. Some of them are going to go for pre-IPO, some of them will do IPO, some will ask commercial bank for tranche, some will ask for crowdsourcing and so on. And if you will see the site of School of Troubleshooters, we print some information about companies each week. And it is not looking as a press release, for example, for satellite surveillance or for anti-drone protection or for missile engines and so on. We do it just to приучить, to
Get
have a
used to,
habit,
get people used to.
get people used to know that we could do such a things. And it is also so-called soft press release.
And we review this skill of press release and how it could be helpful to you. Stay in peace.